Ladies, gentlemen, bodies of water, welcome to the Alchemy Lab. My name is Lee, and I am playing Past Cassius tonight.
My name is Carl, and I'm playing Heartbreakers.
My name is Matt, and I am the alchemist for the Shattered Lands Streets of Mihre. Case 6.5, A Game of Death. Last we left off, the gentleman had received a thumb in the post and gone to Charon. Well, they'd gone to see their first suspect, which was Pox, but it seems Pox is not involved.
And it seems as though we won't see him ever again, canonically.
No, canonically.
Perhaps one of the best lines in this whole entire saga, I think.
Yeah.
Aside from that, you went to see Charon, and Charon and Ender informed you that there was a killer on the loose. One who you haven't you haven't encountered yet. You haven't exactly been in Tier 7 long enough. Although you'd heard maybe whisperings. I think Gracchus had heard a whispering.
Yeah, I probably heard of some of the kills, but never really established anything about it.
Indeed.
Everyone was always tense, weren't they? They were tense at times.
Tense
on the streets, yes.
Yeah. Well, we open now with the pair of you approaching the temple where bodies are stored in the crypts. Alright, so we'll have you sort of on approach and discussing something. What are you discussing?
I'm probably... Now that I'm thinking about it, I do remember a few times people in 7 getting a bit itchy after certain murders, which always struck me as odd. Death is pretty common down here, so why they always freak out about these things. I guess now I know.
Oh. Seems as though it's an ally like this.
Well, whoever they are, they're taunting us. They want us involved.
Well, find them we shall.
We
are the Heartbreakers after all.
And I'm sure they'll end with someone being cut into 2.
See.
Indeed. So the temple looms before you. It is a temple to... Who's it a temple to? I forget the pantheon.
Not Gond.
Not Gond. I'm gonna
blow that up later.
I think I might nick the I'm gonna nick one from Solasta. It is the Temple of Arun.
Ooh. I need to play that game.
Arun being the god of sort of life and light. It seems to be a fitting place to keep the recently deceased. A lot of people want their dead to be buried in the Temple of Arun because it is it's one of the he's one of the more benevolent gods, offers more comfort.
Well, many of them around.
So the doors are so the doors are standing open, and there are sort of people coming in and out, sort of the old throng of people going in and out. Inside there,
you have a priest. You have a temple boss.
Inside there are a few monks around, in sort of natty, kind of very dirty robes, sort of Hessian robes, and they're sort of hooded and they're bowing, and a few of them are praying before the statue, the sort of effigy of Arun. They're there to be approached. Doesn't seem... you can't really tell which one is in charge.
Mm-hmm.
They're all sort of.
I'm just gonna go up to the nearest monk. Then in that case,
Okay.
who's in charge here?
We're all somewhat in charge, but our senior, well, you might say Arun is in charge. We're merely his disciples.
We just want to see the body that came in the other day.
Many bodies pass within these walls and into the
Murder
crypts.
victim.
No thumb. Monk's a dick.
You want to you want
Mhm.
to see that body.
It seems the person who killed him wants us to see that body as well.
And
Will
you
you see?
might be.
We're the Heartbreakers, detective agency.
He says, who?
Who?
I feel like I'm probably the one that's getting a bit shirty here more than anything else.
Immediately, this is where Carl just decides that he wants to bisect a temple, further leading into how we
But-
blow up Gond.
Biting the urge. It's in the back of my mind at this point. Monks are assholes. I'm just sort of going to stand there, kind of puff up the chest and crack the back a little bit. Heartbreaker detective agency. And as I said, I think whoever saw this man put in the ground wants us to be part of this.
Ah.
We're not going to steal it.
You understand? Let's have a little social scene here. Why not?
Okay. Two,
Well, it's an impromptu social scene. Why not?
5. Yeah. And order, gentlemen. Order! Order!
What the?
What the?
What is that? That's a
The
queen.
monk goes first.
Monk goes first.
Good. All right. You must understand, gentlemen, that this particular body is very sensitive and subject to investigation by the town guard.
Is that anyone in particular?
That sort of it's directed at both of you, I would say.
Okay.
I see you about to speak. All we're here to do is inspect the body and understand who this murderer is. He seems to want to speak to us rather than the town guard now. I'm sure that you enjoy taking lots of bodies into your temple, taking them up to Arun. I'm sure you do. However, we'd like to keep them living, wouldn't we? I would like to use Silver Tongue. I'd like to use Silver Tongue for a 6 on this, making it an 18.
Ooh. All right, very good.
You did
An
the,
18.
To be fair, you did the more polite version of what I was going to do.
Yep.
That might well be a critical success, isn't it? That's
I believe it is indeed.
7
I
up.
believe it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Noted. All right. Who's next?
Be Cassius at this point.
I think it is, yeah. So, look, we'll be in, we'll be out, and we'll be all. A king. Sorry, it's very bright.
I mean, you make a. I understand that you have your duty, as we have ours. It's simply that we're very. Oh, hang on. It's simply that we're very, and then it would be Graxus then.
So I'm going to use my imposing presence on that. So what's the king's value again, Lee?
13.
That's a 20 then, total.
Oh boy.
Look,
Okay.
I
This
understand
monk
you have your,
does not have a clue.
I understand you have your duty, but surely if your god is the god of life, you'd rather people not wind up dead. We intend to stop that from happening because of this bastard once again.
I understand.
The monk implodes in embarrassment. He just melts.
Well, I suppose the master of the of the crypt won't mind you examining the body once you, of course, take the proper precaution. And if you just maybe, as long as you're careful and not to desecrate the body. And he's just, as he's making all these concessions, he's just backing away slowly and kind of sort of gesturing.
Where is it?
Which direction?
He's just gesturing over to the doorway that leads down into the crypts.
I'm going to lead the way here because it's just been pissed me off a little bit. And just very much as I walk past.
This is completely the Temple of Gond like origin
This is
story.
why I blew the fucker up.
This is like we could have just dismantled it. No, Carl wanted to blow it up because he couldn't blow up this one.
Yeah, I had no legitimate reason to destroy this temple. I'll blow up one that I fucking can.
All right, well done. That was definitely a success there.
Very definite eye contact. Then thank you, and then just carry on when I'm walking to.
Mm-hmm. And you succeed in that endeavor, and you head down into the crypt. Now, it's immediately colder down here. There is the immediate smell of sort of old bones and formaldehyde and things like that, but also the unmistakable smell of fresh blood. Much colder, much more like a stifling silence descends on you as you move down into the crypt. It's very oppressive down here. And it's sort of it's quite windy. I mean, there's like small corridors, some just skulls set into the walls, some sort of shelves where bodies have been laid to rest. A few urns here and there. But moving through those passageways, come to a more open space where the most recently deceased have been sort of stored before they are put into the identified or put into the crypt itself. It's pretty obvious which one is the one you're looking for. Which body is the one you're looking for. You spot it straight away. It stands out somewhat. But you are again approached by a person not wearing a hood this time. No hood, sleeves rolled up. Gentlemen, how may Arun serve you today? That's the symbol of Arun.
Hello. My name is Cassius Valentine. We've been brought here on a case, a mystery. This morning we received a thumb. We believe its owner has been laid to rest here. We believe we are being taunted. The person who has put him here would like to bring its miscreant to justice.
You're here for that body, I see.
Yes.
You are Cassius Valentine and sorry, who?
This is Gracchus Foebreaker, my associate.
I see. And you are
Heartbreakers Detective Agency.
Ah. I'm not opposed to you examining the body. There have been many of his or her victims in this crypt, laid here before their time. And the town guard, the city guard, as you are well aware, are somewhat lax in these types of duties.
I'm surprised they even bothered to know that he was here.
He's difficult
Well,
to miss.
We hope to put a stop to this. You could lead the way. Take as little time from your day as possible.
Now, you're saying lead the way as really is a formality because, again, you know exactly which body this is.
And why do we know that, dear alchemist?
Well, it's the one Charon mentioned that these bodies often don't have skin.
Oh yeah, he bloody skins them, doesn't he? Or her.
Yeah, him or her.
Or her.
Or her.
We'll go with they. That's just easier.
Yes, yeah. This body of water skins its victims.
Imagine if it is a body of water.
That'd be really weird. That would be SCP levels of weird.
Like a water gin.
You open the door in their secret lair and it's just a
puddle.
yeah. It's just a puddle, yeah.
A puddle
or just a
of
glass
knives.
A glass of water on a table. You found me, Mr. Valentine.
And it's just like bubbling. You found me, Mr. Valentine and Mr. Heartbreaker. Just Carl just drinks him.
Drinks half of him.
Half of it.
Yeah.
Drinks half and pours the other on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, an awful way for a body of water to go. Sorry, I know we have a story to go, but to slowly pour them on the floor. Goodness. God, I hope it's a glass of water now.
Well, this monk does lead you to the body in question. And yes, it is skinless. It has no skin and only one thumb.
Which is interesting because our thumb has skin on it.
Your thumb has skin on it.
When he took the trophy before he flayed them.
Indeed.
Perhaps that's where he started. Or she.
Or she. Perhaps where Zim started. Who knows? But we will begin here with your examination of this body. A mental scene.
Daddy like.
Do I want to mulligan?
Yes, at the start of every scene, ladies and gentlemen, bodies of water. If we do not like our hands, we can discard the first hand.
I can make that work.
Do I want to mulligan?
I can make that work.
Beware, ladies and gentlemen, bodies of water. If you mulligan one time and the next cards are even worse, you're stuck with them.
Yep, I'm good to go. Order.
I will go. I'll stick with this as well.
A 9 again. Was that? Hang on. Did I put that at the top? No. It was a diamond last time.
So 9, 7 for me.
And a 4. All right. So Cassius, Gracchus, and then the body.
Okay. I'm going to go straight in with. Where are my spades at? Okay, not a spade on that one. But I can use a club on my mental intuition and eye for detail.
Okay.
So we're here. What did the message say again? What did our little letter say?
Oh God, what did it say?
That's not written down. Okay.
Well, it said
it didn't. It was nothing really important. I remember. I don't think.
I think it was something along the lines of just.
If you find me, you can. Okay. So eye for detail. Yeah. So this body's. I can see the body's skinned. I'd like to look on the. Is it facing up? I imagine.
Facing up.
Yep. Look for any marks. Is there any carvings in there? Apart from this body being skinned, what other details are there? So that would be it's a jack, so a 15.
Okay, a Jax of 15. Okay. All right. I'll go with a 10 for that.
Okay.
All right. So, and discard that up there. So, looking over this body, you can't necessarily tell if it's anyone you know, obviously, because it's got no skin. You don't really see any distinguishing marks on it. You can tell, what you can tell, the musculature. You can tell it's a guy, obviously. The musculature looks human. Yeah. The musculature suggests physical prowess.
Okay.
Quite built in the upper arms and in the back and sort of in the shoulders.
Dog work, maybe.
Okay, but nothing, just apart from being skinned. This is a muscly man. Muscly human.
Very cleanly skinned, I'll say as well.
Okay. Person takes care in their craft. This is what Cassius says. Care of his craft, he chose this.
So, my turn? Lee, remind me, if I'm going to use an acquisition, that's just an additional +1, correct?
So, with your acquisition, what is your order card?
So, my my power suit, my triumph suit is hearts.
And then what is your order card?
Oh, it's going to be a spade, sorry.
A spade. Okay, so I imagine you're going to be using toxin familiarity, perhaps.
I am indeed.
Yes. So on Gracchus Foebreaker's sheet, he has an acquisition in the spade slot, toxin familiarity. Now, as Carl has a spade for his order card, he gets to add a 9 to this.
Now, here's my second question. That can then be paired with a skill, correct?
I don't see why not. If it's not in the rules, well, if it is in the rules, it's in the rules. But if it's not in the rules, then we can do whatever we want.
I'm pretty sure when you've played it in the past, it has been, if you have an acquisition, you can play it on top of your skills as well.
Acquisitions are meant to be played very, very powerfully.
To give people an insight, I only have 3 toxin familiarity uses, so now I only have 2.
So he's got 2 left.
So that, with my familiarity, that becomes an 18, and because it is a spade, I can also use my mental endurance stat, which is Calm Mind, for an additional 6. So that's 24.
So you don't. So hang on, you don't use. So this is the card that you're going to have, and then, for example, you would have.
In that case, then I have 2 spades. That's fine. I can solve the problem. Yep. So that is my toxic familiarity point.
9.
9.
Yep.
With that, becomes an 11, and I'm adding 6 to that, which then becomes an 18.
18, okay.
Sorry, 17.
17.
I do apologise.
17.
I forgot that's how it was. I forgot it was you played a card for the value of it.
Very powerful, ladies and gentlemen, bodies of water. This is why they are finite in their usage.
If you were particularly lucky, you could have 2 face cards of the same suit and basically double the power.
Just destroy a scene.
Right. Okay. Okay. And you're calling upon your sort of internal
basically. So
powers of toxic
logic here is this guy is flaying them alive. From what we can see, there's no obvious cause of death, but there's no obvious markings or wounds that might suggest anything. So if he's flaying them, and if they might not be dead at the time, he has to keep them subdued somehow.
Okay.
I want to check if he poisons them.
Christ, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just does it when they're alive. And that's what kills them.
Well, yeah, but then he would probably want this person seems like the kind of person to me who want, if he's going to do this, he's probably doing it to try and get an immaculate skin.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So he
Very
won't
true.
want them fidgeting. He'll probably want them still, which means even if he doesn't kill them beforehand, he might be paralyzing them first.
Yeah.
So they might be
that'd be
they might be
awful. Oh, that'd be
conscious.
so awful.
They might be conscious, but he is making sure that they know he can kill them still.
All right.
I can just see this now. Like that it's not going to be a toxin. It's just going to be paralyzed, and they know the whole time. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm
Well,
also going to use an acquisition
Oh.
of careful craft.
Oh.
Now, what? So, what do I do with this again?
So you
Order card. Order card. Yes. So you have
it's
your
there.
order card. Your careful craft will add a 6 to the skill that you use.
Ah,
It
okay.
doesn't have to be a spade. You can
No.
use another skill that's not the same.
So you're just
I
going to be
just-
adding a +6 to whatever
To whatever your next
action
move
you
is.
do,
Oh, okay.
or whatever
The
reaction
reason
you're doing.
the reason I played
And
two
this is
spades
taken out of
because-
your hand, yeah?
Yes.
Ah, okay, lovely. All right. So we're going to add a 6
A high playing round, gentlemen.
to.
That's the point of the game, though, right? Show off
It is
the mechanics.
indeed.
Ooh. Ooh.
See, I use it to buff up a very weak card because
Yeah.
I have realistically not a great hand.
That was going to be a 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was going to be a 7. So
I'm
I
gonna
buffed it with
use
my
it.
second highest card.
And that was an 17, yeah?
17 total.
All right, so I'm going to buff this. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to buff up the 8 to a 14.
Okay. So it's not an epic. It's not an epic.
Not an epic
That's
success. And
but it could have been an epic failure, Carl. So
fine. Yeah.
so toxic familiarity gives you some sense of definitely some kind of paralytic that hasn't passed out of the system yet of this individual and won't because he's dead.
Mhm.
Definitely some kind of paralytic. Maybe a drug, but you're not positive.
Yeah, it's fair. Oh Christ.
brilliant. I can use an acquisition as well.
So I'm
This is and it's the only heart that I have, and it's in social as well. Mental.
Mhm.
This guy might not have been dead before he was flayed. There's traces of paralytic in the body, so he would have kept them still and potentially conscious of what was happening.
The body is going to, with that revelation, the body is going to use a skill. The skill is terror
Effective skill.
with a queen.
Ooh. Okay.
I
To-
feel like
to
it
who?
would- I feel like it would be me because I'm the one that discovered that.
You did just discover
being
the.
fair, I discovered
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So is it a queen? So
So that's going to take that up to what a 12 up to a 17, isn't it?
How much? How much is your? Do you have? What is your skill level?
Skill level is base.
Just a base level. So what? How much skill? Probably haven't put levels into. Right. Here's what I want you to do. In your world deck, draw a card for me.
Art.
Okay, 3. Add 3 to it. That's how we did all the
okay.
skill levels for this one. So that's a 3.
Yeah.
That's how we're doing it now. Right.
so that is total of
That
what?
is
Sorry.
a total of
15.
15.
Okay, so I can use the same skill multiple times in a round, correct?
If it suits.
It will fit here, thank fuck.
Mm.
So again, using Calm Mind for skill level 6, I'm going to center myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what, 11 for a Joker, for a Jack, is it not? Or is it a 10 again?
11.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is a 17 total again.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. The sheer evil of this act threatens to overtake you, Gracchus, but you've seen plenty of evil in your time. And Keep yourself stoic.
Now, not to be left out of using acquisitions, I realise that. So, if we all cast our mind back, dear audience, it's not been long since I had too been very close to the realm of the dead, and this is where I became like that Death Knight kind of thing, didn't I? This is where we had Flash,
Flash.
Oh,
and
my.
he kept, and I just basically left him on there to be really, really good at performance, and I wanted to keep that within this build. So
Yes.
for the 9 that I have, the only acquisition I have in my mental state is Afterlife Tutors. So might not necessarily need to be a tutor though. Perhaps I can find the person in front of us. So I have a 9. I'm also going to use Warlock's Mind
Okay.
for 4. So we're on 13 at the
Mhm.
moment. Now, in order to use Warlock's Mind, I need a heart or a spade.
Mm-hmm.
I have a spade. Gentlemen. I have
Okay.
hit a 26. Give me that body. Give me the man.
Okay.
So I go to touch him. You know, big
Mm-hmm.
gross. So my eyes just fucking go, "Bleh,"
Mm.
and I enter the realm where I've been once more,
Okay.
searching through.
And this is your second foray into the land of the dead, isn't it? Because you've at this point you've gone into you found
I may have
Flash
done
at
it.
this point.
I may have at least found Flash once. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think at this point you had because you've got.
I
it
think I
after
used it in the next
Obelisk.
case. I'm pretty sure I
Yeah.
used it in the next case.
I'm sure you used it in
Oh, I did.
Lord's Losses.
I used it in the Lord's Losses. I used Flash in the Lord's Losses to perform as thingy, as the Lords.
Yeah. You apprentice
Yes.
Lord Solon, didn't you?
Go with grace or something. I became very religious.
Go with
Yeah.
grace. Yeah.
To his kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go with grace.
Go with grace.
Woof.
Uh,
All right. So
oh,
you.
this is a very nostalgic episode. I like that you've taken us back, Matt. We get
Yeah,
to
it's
look back
nice.
on all our
It's
cases.
nice. Yeah.
Well, you delve back into the land of the dead, and you find a version of Mihre's streets. There are ghostly forms wandering back and forth, going wherever they're going. So just like columns of smoke. And they're columns of smoke because they're not who you're looking for. However, there is a figure striding along. And this figure, now you have the body, but not knowing who he is and not kind of knowing anything about him, it's slightly vague. I mean, you can what you have before you is an image of what you assume was this person. He is pretty kind of well built, looks to be in his late 20s, you'd say, human, wearing a dock worker's uniform, and he is just kind of walking along the streets. And from what you gather, this is almost a memory. This isn't like your other experiences in the land of the dead. You see him sort of walking along, plodding along, very sort of destitute, and you see another aspect of these sort of ghoulish Mihre streets begins to glow suddenly. You see him kind of trudge, and then you see him turn and look at this building that is glowing brightly from its doorway and from its windows. It's like a warm, inviting glow. And you see, sort of hesitantly at first, and then with more purpose, is moving towards this doorway. And you see him go in. And then you feel that warmth turn to something awful. It turns to terror
Malevolent.
in an instant. It turns to malevolence and terror in an instant.
Do I know where this is?
You don't recognize the street. It's all sort of twisty and sort of abstract. And the building was very abstract. It was a 3-story, from what you could tell. Looked to be like it was almost like a block of dwellings. Like you do get a few of those that are kind of where they just have people. It's not actually like the worst places people live. People just tend to live like in holes in the rock, as you've seen at this point. But occasionally, like maybe a step up from that is these sort of blocks where people basically live on top of each other. Sometimes kind of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 to a room or to a.
It's like a really awful hostel that you live in all the time.
It's a bit like how Notting Hill used to be in the 50s, where you'd have like 45 families. You have like 45 people to one of those 3-story houses.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Will I stay in the land of the dead? Yeah, Matt.
I think once he has gone into the light and it turns, you get.
I'm happy to face off against the house in my next round if I have to. The House of Terror.
Well, you got an epic success there. I drew off the world in that case because you weren't going against the enemy, so you were going against sort of realms in a sense. I'll say that as he goes in there and it turns to terror, you get this feeling from it of fascination and like sort of a cold kind of clinical fascination, and then you are drawn back into the crypt.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you'd frozen there.
He looks as though he's frozen. I just sort of go, after you. And I'm just sort of still looking at the body and trying to puzzle this all through my head.
Okay. That's 2D. Okay. So again, using calm mind, I want to examine the wound around the thumb. See if there's anything left in there. Because this
for 6.
Yeah. Total of 8.
8.
Let's say this left a message inside the thumb when you hand it over to us.
I will. Oh, hang on. I need to. Okay. So that was a 3. Terror.
6 total.
6,
8 total.
I will.
Matt, sorry, it was 8 total. It's my fault. It was a 6.
8 total.
2 with a 6 skill.
Okay. I will play terror once again to make that into a 5, I think. You can see the area around the thumb is very, very neatly cauterized.
Okay.
Similar to the thumb itself. It was like it's been so you got like that much right at the knuckle. And this is just like smoothed off.
So it didn't want him bleed. Whoever's is bleeding out after cut off the thumb.
No, definitely pre. I mean, obviously, the fact that the thumb had skin, it was done pre-mortem, which means that he wanted whoever this
He wa-
was, this body of water, wanted this man alive
While he skinned him.
for the skinning.
Body's turned him.
Hmm. Um. Hmm. All right. I'm gonna be drawing off there after this, but whoops. The body is going to lay there in its obtuseness. It is a skinned body without many identifying features. And it seems like you've got all you can off it. And it's just going to lay there in all its question markish glory.
Who's going against it? Who is it being obtuse to?
Oh, it's going to be obtuse to your next, Cassius. So it's going to be obtuse to you.
Okay. I look at it, almost feeling that it's trying to be obtuse to me.
Mm-hmm.
I turn to the monk guy.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to. I'm going to use on the monk man. Get some
Silver
information
tongue?
out of him. Yeah, I'm going to use that 6 plus a 6 to talk to the monk. Can you give us any information at all about this man? Where was he found? Start.
Well, he was found. He was found close to. He was found sort of in the northern reaches of Mihre, on the Caliban district, on the Caliban streets.
Caliban Streets. Were there any tenements? How many tenements are in Caliban district? Many? Was he found near one?
There are some. There are some up that way. Mostly it's dwellings. It's mostly the more impoverished dwellings. The sort of winding streets with the that are mainly sort of just created from old houses or from the rock face.
What I saw, Gracchus, was this man walking, being drawn one of the tenements. As he entered, there was an inviting presence, this building, and then turned sour, malevolent. That is where our man is hiding.
If it will be of assistance, we have some of his possession.
Please.
Over here, they're in this chest down here.
While walking over, I'm going to ask them. I want to ask the monk. Are you aware of any brothels in Caliban streets? This man was physically imposing. For someone to get a paralytic into his body, you'd have to have either no knowledge of it happening, or be otherwise non-threatened.
Mm-hmm.
A person doesn't walk into a tenement block willingly for many things, especially with their guard down.
Well, I am a man of the cloth. I am not. I don't partake in such things, but I am aware of a number of them in that area.
Humble flex. I walk over to the belongings while this conversation is happening. I want to cast my eye for detail over them.
Okay.
For a 14.
Ooh, for a 14. Okay.
This discard pile is looking very tasty as a deck, and
Oh, mine is the same. My discard
Yep.
is significantly nicer than what my current hand is.
just face cards,
Yeah.
high cards.
But
All
while
right.
that 2 I've played, nothing else is below like a 6.
My lowest was a 6. Yeah.
Okay. So
So it gets
What-
a 10. Was that?
that was a 10, yeah. So you look down into this this sort of case where the belongings are, the belongings that were on him. There are some clothes there. The clothes of a dock worker,
Makes sense.
bearing of a low-level dock worker.
Labor makes sense, yeah.
That's pretty much it. It's just his clothes in there.
Is there anything in his pockets?
Yes, there are. There are some things in the pockets. So, there are. So there's two. You find 2 scraps of paper, in sort of the trouser pocket. One is a shopping list, sort of various quite low-cost items. Looks like he was going toward the Caliban markets, which are very, very like fourth-hand stuff, or very kind of like very basic foodstuffs, and
Yeah.
it's quite a sprawling market, but it's very, very low quality. The other document is discussing a loan request, and it has what seems to be the man's name and address on it. The name is Samuel, but with an A, Samuel Plummer. And his address is at 17 North Caliban Way.
I usher Brackus. Almost certain our man is in the Caliban district.
Okay.
Even be this man here. Point to the name.
Samuel Plummer. Monk. Yeah, we got his name.
I just like that.
Yeah.
To be
Boy.
fair,
Come here, boy.
hey, it feels very Gracchus. Monk, have you dealt with any of the other previous victims of this madman?
I think it's your turn now, isn't it, Gracchus?
It is indeed.
I
whisper to Gracchus, or woman,
Mad person, then.
or fake.
or it could be a body of water.
Mad thing.
All of a sudden, the body turns into water. Roll initiative. We don't do that here.
Yeah. I've seen 2 of them before.
Ooh. So I'm going to draw a blind here because my other card in my hand is a fucking ace.
His dog.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dog. So even with if I'm going to do socially, I'm talking to him. Even with that, I'm still only going to get like an 8. It's not too great. So we'll go with social strength because I want to have a skill in. So opposing presence. So that is basically that's a 15 total for that. Any similarities for you? Same location, same occupation, anything like that at all? Any pattern connecting them?
Monk shits his pants.
The monk,
Second time here.
and that will mean I drop a bunch of cards on the floor. It also will.
You've also terrified the alchemist, Gracchus.
It will also conclude the mental scene with an excellent victory.
Christ for that fucking ace. My hand was dog shit. I had that 9 was.
I had a 10 left.
I had 2 cards I had a jack and I had that 9. They were the only decent cards I had. So what I need to try and stack this early up for me to try and do as much damage to end this scene quick as I can.
As that was an epic success, you'll notice something as well. So the priest. Actually, hang on. What was the card played? It was I think it was an epic success.
It was 8. It was 15 total.
It's for 15.
15 total. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So the priest nods. We have bodies brought to us from all over this tier. Occasionally up from 8 as well. We've had bodies come from 8. Well, one of the skinless came from tier 8. Another came from near to the docks. North Caliban Way is quite far from the docks.
Came from 8. Raven.
One came from Raven. One from tier 8, yes.
But Raven, docks, dock worker. Impoverished. Very impoverished.
People that no one would care.
No one's going to miss.
Before we continue, gentlemen, we have forgotten to do our conclusion actions.
We have.
Oh, yes.
So we can.
Well, we haven't quite concluded. We'll conclude in a moment.
We didn't do it for the last one either.
No, we didn't.
No.
So,
Please remember that.
because there's one more thing that Gracchus, because you've got your epic success, you'll notice. As you have that realization of, oh, these are the most impoverished. Your eyes just cast down to his clothes again. And you see in the shirt, something is sort of jutting out at an odd angle. It's not like jutting like it's hard, but there's just a shape there within the shirt that is out of place.
Where's the exit to this room in relation to me and him?
So there's the row of. So there's 6 bodies in there with you.
Mm-hmm.
This one's the furthest along. So you have the 6. You have a doorway that goes off into the crypts, and you have another doorway that you came through that goes off into the crypts on either side of these slabs where the bodies lay.
I'm going to whisper to Cassius. Lock the exit. And I'm going to walk round sort of behind him so he can see me, but it's not so I'm like storming to the door.
Mm-hmm.
And as I get round the other side of him, I'm going to hand on my sword. Monk, what's that on your shirt?
Oh, in the.
I think
the victim's clothes.
Yep.
Not
Sorry.
his clothes.
Sorry.
I was going to say.
Because I was talking to the monk. That's what. Never mind. Ignore the whole walking around. In that case, I'm gonna. That's my fault. In that case, I'm
the
gonna
monk goes,
pick up.
"What do you mean?" And opens up, and you just see his balls, and he is hung.
In that case, then I'm gonna go to the shirt and see what it says.
Mm-hmm. So you sort of examine the shirt. There seems to be a hidden pocket that's been sewn into the shirt.
I'm gonna pull out one of my knives. And
presumably not by this man, I would imagine.
Well, we'll find out. And very carefully start cutting the stitches because, again, not entirely trustworthy what this could be yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a bomb! No. So you open it, and inside there is a little roll. It's almost like a paper roll, but it doesn't look like paper. It looks like something else.
It looks like skin.
That's what I'm thinking here.
Well, as you pull it out, it feels sort of leathery.
Okay.
Okay, skin.
And given the lack of skin, and this guy apparently loves a bit of skin, it's probably going to be skin.
I'm going to unfurl it, and assuming there's probably going to be metal in here, so I'm going to miss some more.
Well, it's cured and tanned. it is essentially, it's just like paper.
Yeah.
And there is a message on it. Yes. And immediately, Gracchus, you can see that this message is from Mr. Valentine.
Cassius.
I walk
sort of got
over.
up. Seems he wants
Ah.
your attention.
A skin note.
And
Addressed to you.
of course, you have read this note, Gracchus, as you pulled it out of the pocket, and you give it to Cassius, and it reads, "Don't you miss the upper tiers, Mr. Valentine? The air is light and blood is pure. Why roll around in the filth, I wonder?"
Seems our friend's been doing a little digging of their own.
Sort of fold it up and I just put it in my breast pocket.
I don't really want to take this, but I'm going to have to.
Well. Thank you, Monk. We'll be on our way now.
You're welcome, investigator.
I hope we can. It's detective.
Detective.
Also, we gave him our names. He didn't
Thank
give
you.
us his.
Thank you, Heartbreaker.
There.
And then I put on some sunglasses. Wow!
Oh, and then you put them on, then you take them off.
Then I
again.
take them off. Hopefully,
I have my
we
sunglasses
can.
with me.
You won't have to have any more skinned bodies.
It would be much appreciated.
Gracchus,
Good luck. Good
after
luck
you.
in your endeavor, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So now we can do our 2 conclusion actions. That we wanted to do. Now,
Conclusion.
there is a whole host of conclusion actions that we can do. We can repair any wounds that we have. Luckily, we haven't been wounded just yet. This is normally for the loser of the scene, and luckily, me and Carl have been destroying the alchemist. We can refresh our decks. We can put our discard pile into our decks. They are very good cards there, but I have a lot of cards left, so I won't be doing that
Same.
yet. We could be looking for acquisitions, should we want. We could loot things. We could probably in a thing, but all of our acquisition slots are full at the moment. So one last thing that we can do is gain experience. So how we do this? Go into our order deck and pull a card. So this is a 2 of hearts. Now I believe that is no, it's not my triumph suit. So that is 2 experience for the first scene. The first scene was a social scene, correct?
Was a social scene, yes.
Social
I don't know why I'm pulling one. Do I pull one as well?
Well, I mean, I think really as the alchemist, you would be doing your wounds and things like that. You'd be trying to remove those away. Otherwise, the big bad would be killed off before we get there.
You wound me, sir.
Oh, you wound me. Oh, okay. No,
also, you'd probably count your skill fails as well, Matt, because you might have triggered
an upgrade.
A skill point.
Indeed.
So for me, first one, that's a diamond, which would be 4 XP, correct?
4 XP for your social.
Yeah.
And another 2 in my mental. So not great for the experience, but I'll take it. I will take it. All I've been doing is just changing the outline of the boxes to red, Carl.
Thank you very much.
4 and a 3. So once we get to 7 experience, we get to another power point, which will either get us some more refresh on our well-being, or even another acquisition. Would very much like an acquisition slot, but it seems I've got quite a way until I get one of those. So.
All right. So after our concluding actions, what is the next stage, gentlemen?
I guess we're going to Caliban Street.
I believe we're going to the Caliban district, yes, and following up on this Samuel.
Yeah, specifically going to go to his address.
Okay.
It's the most
Right.
tangible evidence we have at the moment.
Mhm.
And the only other evidence is it's someone from my past, yet again.
Or someone who's following us.
Mhm.
Might not necessarily be from your past. They might just be listening to conversation.
Mhm.
Address it to me. We were both in the upper tiers.
Yeah, but you were much higher than me.
Both weren't in 7, Carl.
Who said they won't find my address to me after?
Mhm.
Very true. Hopefully, we
first one
won't
was-
find one to you.
Fingers crossed, but the
Yeah.
first one's addressed to both of us. This one's
Mhm.
taunting you.
Mhm.
So there's nothing said that the next one won't be taunting me.
Mhm.
If this is actually what we're talking about, I believe there should be actually haste in Cassius's step now, because I'm like, oh goodness, what if Samuel has now been killed?
Mhm.
Actually, yeah, because this would have been just after post Raven as well for you. So
Mhm.
they've already had one attempt on you. You would be on edge here, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, not about me. I've gone into full detective mode. I don't
no,
really
I know,
want us
but-
to find another dead body.
As a
I'm
result-
sick of this.
What I'm saying is, it would make sense for you to be more on edge at that point than me getting taunted because it's like, well, they tried to kill me. That didn't take. What's this all about now then?
Mhm. Well, as you hastily leave the temple and make for North Caliban Way, we shall conclude there. So, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, and we'll see you next time. Oh, where can we find everybody? Let's do that stuff.
You can find me at onlyfans.com/Lee Drew Simmons, and pretty much on every other social platform under that same handle. No nudes up there, and I still haven't put anything on there because I still need to make sure that I'm a real person. But you can subscribe now; it's free, and it will always be free.
You can find me at Matt Waterhouse, author on Minds, at mattwaterhouse.substack.com on Substack, obviously.
No OnlyFans.
And not on OnlyFans yet.
One day.
Carl, have you started yours yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Not yet. That means it could happen one day.
Just getting a sweet backlog of nudes.
Just building up the catalogue, lads. Just build up the catalogue.
Yeah. Beard neatly fluffed.
Mhm.
We'll see you next time.